This frozen ball transforms into a steaming bowl of hot pork soup in exactly 60 seconds. It contains pork, vegetables, and rice locked inside with no cooking required, only boiling water. It remains shelf-stable in your freezer for up to 2 years. This is the method ordinary families used to survive the 1930s. Today, I will demonstrate the entire recipe for you, step by step. Make sure to stay until the end to learn about the one secret ingredient that holds the entire structure together. We begin with the vegetables. Take one medium zucchini and cut it very fine into small cubes, almost like a mince. The smaller these pieces are, the faster and more evenly they will dry in the oven. What remains after this process is pure, concentrated flavor. Zucchini is mild and slightly sweet with no bitterness. Next, take white button mushrooms and use the same technique to create a very fine dice. The Amish referred to mushrooms as earth meat, and there is real science behind that name. Mushrooms contain natural glutamates, which are the same compounds responsible for the deep, savory flavor found in beef broth. Now we move to the carrot. I use the same fine dice here. This provides the golden color in the finished soup along with beta-carotene and vitamin A, which were critical for immune function during times of limited food. For the garlic, use a garlic press rather than chopping. When you press garlic, you break the cell walls, which releases allicin. This is the compound responsible for the flavor of the garlic and its natural antimicrobial properties. Add about 2 tablespoons of finely chopped fresh dill. It has mild antibacterial properties and lightens the flavor, so the ball does not taste heavy, bringing a brightness to the rehydrated soup that makes it feel fresh. Place everything into one bowl, the zucchini, mushrooms, carrot, garlic, and dill, and mix them together. Spread the mixture onto a parchment-lined baking sheet in a thin, even layer. At this point, drop a comment below. Have you ever dried vegetables at home before? I am genuinely curious how many of you are already practicing this. A critical point here is that we are drying these at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. We are not roasting them, we are drying them. A step most people miss is leaving the oven door cracked open. Place a wooden spoon in the gap because the moisture needs somewhere to go. This takes 1 to 2 hours until they look leathery and reduce to about a third of their original volume. While the vegetables dry, we prepare the meat. Use half a pound of pork loin cut into small pieces, roughly half an inch each. For the Amish, a pig was considered a food bank. Cows were seen as currency, sold for tools, fabric, or seeds. But a pig fed a family through the entire winter. Pork loin carries enough fat to hold flavor through the freezing process. That fat also coats the meat fibers and seals them from oxygen. Using butter creates a richer, more complex flavor during the sear and carries that aroma all the way through to the final ball. We need a hard sear. That brown crust forming is the Maillard reaction. It seals in the juices, creates hundreds of flavor compounds, and gives the finished soup that deep roasted color. Without this step, the balls come out pale and flat. Do not skip the sear. Put the pork into the blender and add 1 egg. I will explain the full secret now. The egg creates a protein matrix throughout the entire mixture. When it freezes, that matrix sets like a scaffold, holding the pork, rice, and dried vegetables locked inside. That single egg is the difference between a survival ball that works and one that turns to mush in the bowl. Blend the mixture, but keep it coarse. You still want to see pieces of meat. If this becomes a paste, it is overblended and the final soup loses all texture. If you have no blender, chop the pork as fine as you can with a knife, add the beaten egg, and mix by hand. This is what you should end up with. Look at these vegetables from that entire bowl. What is left is pure concentrated flavor with almost zero moisture. Put them into a large mixing bowl. Add the dried vegetables first, then the blended pork, and finally the cooked white rice. The rice absorbs the meat juices immediately and becomes a flavor carrier. It also adds the carbohydrates that make this a complete meal. Protein, fat, carbs, and vegetables are all in one ball. For packaging, use plastic bags cut into squares about 6 by 6 inches, or plastic wrap. Place 1 heaping tablespoon of the mixture in the center. Bring the corners together and twist tight, squeezing out any air. Air is the enemy of long-term storage. We use individual wrapping for portioning because every ball is exactly 1 serving. You always know exactly what you have in reserve. This protection in sealed plastic prevents freezer burn and keeps outside odors out. 6 months from now, that ball should smell like pork and dill. Not like your freezer. Place them into the freezer for 2 hours to fully set. Stored like this, they last up to 2 years due to the low temperature, being sealed from oxygen, the salt in the mix, and the dried vegetables with minimal moisture. These are 3 layers of preservation working together. This is exactly the logic the Amish used, translated from a root cellar into a modern freezer. Look at these. They are completely solid and in a perfect shape. I have 5 balls from one batch, meaning 5 full servings of hot soup ready in 60 seconds each. Unwrapping one now, I can already smell it through the plastic. I really wish you could smell the rich aroma coming out of this bowl. If this is making you hungry through the screen, drop a like on the video. Place it into the bowl with about 10 ounces of boiling water and stir. Look at that color. Golden amber, rich and deep. The rice is expanding, the mushrooms and zucchini are coming back, and the pork pieces are separating. Carrot, mushroom, dill, rice, and pork, all of it in 60 seconds. This is not a powder or a bouillon cube. It is real pork, real vegetables, and real rice compressed into something you can prepare anywhere you have boiling water. If this survival recipe changed the way you look at preserving food in your kitchen, please subscribe and like the channel. We are excavating the history and skills that time tried to bury. Grew your knowledge and plant the seeds for your future. The next culinary treasure will be uncovered soon.